Hello, my name is Willie Killebrew. My nickname is Sonny, and I grew up, born and raised in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I went to Alex High School, graduated there, and while I was attending Alex there, I was in several things that were motivating to me, which was playing sports. I was into art and singing. Those things that I learned earlier in life, they were motivating to me later on in life to become entrepreneurs and all those things that I did well when I was young. The field of art, I learned a lot of stuff, painting signs and drawing portraits of people. I enjoyed doing that, and I still do that. And on the sign painting thing, I was motivated here in Hopkinsville by a gentleman named Reverend C.L. Brown, which was most inspiring to me. He is passed on now, and he was really a mentor to me in that field. I learned to become a barber, and I went to Western Kentucky State Vocational Technical Training School in Paducah, Kentucky. After that, I didn't really go into working as a barber, but I still had the skills and the knowledge and the education to keep barbering. But I ended up going into the United States Air Force, where I did 4 years there. I lived in Dayton, Ohio, and I was really inspired there with music because Dayton was a town that was loaded with musicians, professional musicians, just musicians, and music was really thriving there. And I was inspired by a saxophone player there, a couple of saxophone players, and who were really great. And so I went back home, got my saxophone, and I studied music for the time that I picked up my horn. From the first year in the Air Force, I went and got my saxophone and started practicing every day. That was, to really do what you want to do in life, you've got to believe in yourself and make an effort toward what you really want to do in life. Just stick with it. If that's what you really think you want to do. And I really was impressed with the people that I saw doing music and playing music. So it really motivated me to want to get into it professionally. And then practicing and working at that is where I really got my skills of becoming a professional saxophonist, which I do today. The music thing turned into a success for me. Later on, after I got out of the Air Force, I played around with several groups. I was playing around Atlanta, and several people heard me and tried to get me to come and play with them. So I met this guy in Atlanta. His name was Jason Bryant, who was the leader of this group that I played with. And it was called Santa Monica. And it was on Camilton Road in Atlanta. And so I ended up playing with Jason. And 3 years later, we got a record contract. And the record contract was for us to play with Taboo Records. And we became the SOS band, which a lot of people around here in Hopkinsville don't really know that I was really an original member of the SOS band, which was famous. I had 2 gold singles and a gold album and a platinum single, which was Take Your Time, Do It Right, Tell Me If You Still Care, SOS Band, Just Be Good to Me, all those hits. I was on those hits with the first album was produced by a guy named Sagidi Abdullah. The next time I was on with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who wrote hits for a lot of groups in the 80s and the 90s. I traveled all over the country. I was played in every major arena in the United States back then, and did shows. And I would just like to let kids know today, man, that we're in Hopkinsville, in a small community, man, and a lot of you out there have talents and motivation, things that can get you ahead in life if you would just take time out and use those things, man, because there's a lot of things you can do to keep you out of the streets and out of trouble. And I want you to stay mindful and be mindful that you have got to listen to your parents. There were some real bad years in my life. There were some times in my life, a few years when I was on drugs, and that's coming out of the life of fame and fortune. And I was on drugs, so I was locked up, and I was telling myself, man, I can't keep going through this, man. I got too much talent, and I played with a famous band and all that. I have nothing to show for it. And I said, man, I gotta let these people know that I'm around, that I was the real deal back in the day. So when I got out, man, from being on drugs and stuff like that, man, I broke it. I prayed to God, and that's where your true faith of trying to get out of something is to pray. Pray and ask God to take you away from a bad habit. And my prayer was answered. And so I've been moving forward ever since. And people don't even know, can't even picture you or imagine you ever being on drugs. When you come so clean and your life is so turned around, and they look at what you have, a home, you have cars, you dress nice, you're in church. When people see that, you know, they can't imagine you ever even being on drugs. Everybody's got a story from the past, but if you can't change your story in your life, you need to look in the mirror at yourself and see and ask yourself, where am I going from here, or what can I do to make me better?